All right, on this episode of the LPDS, I talk a little bit about prepping for my parents' visit to the LPDS compound and what's life is like when you're preparing for Crazy Carol and JPL3 to come into town. I also have a couple of current events to discuss, and naturally, we got a cage fact. So all that coming up right now. All right, jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti. Hope everybody had a good week. At the time of this recording, it's earlier in the week. We'll talk about why in the junction, why I had to record early. But so far, my week has been okay. It's been a little hectic. Talk about that in the junction. My parents are coming to town. That's the junction topic. So by the time you hear this, I'll be dead. But anyway, we'll get into that, all that in the junction. If I haven't said it once, I'll say it again. But my week has been going okay, a little hectic. Hope yours has been going better, a little less hectic, a little less stressful, but hopefully just as positive as mine, because we got a lot of good things going on in life. And even though we all have our bad stuff going on, we got to hone in on the good. We got to focus on the good and see the bad as opportunities to learn, grow, and improve and get better, right? That's what we do here. Sometimes we trash talk and roast each other, all in good fun. That's also what we do here. But I don't know where I was going with that. Anyway, this shouldn't be too long. Like I said, I haven't had the full week to look up juicy current events to vent about or anything like that, anything crazy going on. So we should be able to get to the good stuff pretty quickly here. Now, in the current events world, speaking of current events, this will be a week plus old by the time you guys hear this. A man was arrested, I believe it was in Florida, shocker, for spiking the drinks of his dates. Now, it sounds bad. Roofalins, roofies. I know Roofalin is not the real name for roofies. That came out of the movie Hangover. I got it. But I call him Roofalin because of the movie. So that's that. Anyway, it sounds like this guy was doing Roofalins with his dates to lure him back to his house to do stuff with. But the guy was actually spiking the dates' drinks with Viagra. And he claimed that he did it because he wanted to make sure that he was actually going out with a woman. And if he put the Viagra in there and they started getting raging bone daddies, he knew he was in for a surprise. Now, a couple of things on this one. One, I did a very minimal amount of vetting on this story. It was sent to me by a few people, and then I saw it separately on the internet. And I was like, that's good enough for me to at least talk about. So I don't know if it's real or not. Go do your own research if you really want to find out if it's real or not. It's a pretty innocuous story. It's not going to affect too many people out there. So that's why I didn't care as much. But I'm not saying this story is true, but I'm going to comment on the theme of it and the reason behind this purportedly real story. with the advent of the new, I don't know, line of thinking, going with your feelings as opposed to your brain. I don't know what you want to call it. But in this new age, there is absolutely an increased amount of changeovers, trans, if you will, whatever you want to call it, whatever they call themselves at any given point, which seems to change on a regular basis. I just realized I didn't have my super cool, technologically sound ring light on, and now you can see my chest hairs and puny muscles a little bit better. Anyway, there's a lot of changing going on with people, okay? They're following their feelings a little bit more, and they're not always feeling like what they are, and they're making changes accordingly, which I don't care. Okay, if that's what's going to make you happy, or if you think that's what's going to make you happy and you're an adult, go ahead. Whatever you got to do, I'm here for it. I'll still be your friend. We'll still hang out. In fact, I've hung out with plenty of people in that realm, in that mindset, whatever the word is for it. I don't really know. And I know I'm going to say the wrong thing and get canceled. So whatever, it doesn't matter what I say, I'm wrong. So I don't care. That's the bottom line with that. But because of that, you can't be too sure what you got in front of you on a blind date. And if you know anything about the LPDS's recent dating history over the past couple years, you know we've dealt with that before. And if you don't know, now you know. I'm not going to say the rest of that lyric. Go back to the episode. Thank you for being a friend. I don't remember what number it was. 133? Probably before that, actually. I don't exactly know. 96, 90. I don't know. If I remember, I'll pop it up in the top left, top right corner here on the YouTubes for you to click on and go watch. That'll tell the story. That'll tell the tale of the time I got tricked. I didn't even need to spike the drink with Viagra. Thankfully, we didn't get to the drinks part, and the guy did it. You know, he did all he needed to do to prove his guyness in a safe manner where I was able to evacuate the scene without any injury. Thank God. But anyway, you can't be too sure these days. And this guy, while he looks a little suspect, and you don't want to judge a book by its cover, but he wasn't taking any chances. He was not going to put himself in an LPDS situation where he's sitting across from Terry Crews wearing an Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction wig and a tight dress and his hog hanging out, ready to pounce on you. He wasn't going to allow that to happen. He was just trying to be prepared so that he can make a move accordingly, so he doesn't find himself in bed with somebody he doesn't want to be in bed with. It's a reasonable thing to consider here, folks. Now, his execution of it, not the best. You don't want to spike people's drinks with anything. Although Viagra, I don't think it has any negative effects on women. I believe it was originally created as like a blood thinner to help with hypertension, which is a nice way of saying high blood pressure, so people don't get their feelings hurt when they get told that they have high blood pressure and they need to figure it out. It was originally for that, as some sort of like a blood thinner, hypertension minimizer, and it became part of the hard dick business because the blood surged down to the peepees, and then they're like, we were sitting on a gold mine here. And they were. So I don't recommend it, even though it's pretty innocuous as far as its effects on people. I don't know what happens with women when they take Viagras. I don't know if they get hard in other places, or if, I don't know. I don't even want to speculate. I know nothing about women, clearly. Or men, for that matter. Anyway, This guy gets arrested, and he said, you can't be too sure. That's why I did it. I know what I did. I did what I did. And that was that. That's the big story of the week. Now, there are countless stories of our great politicians out there lying and cheating and sneaking in bills without us knowing and being stupid and brain dead and corrupt and clueless. But do we really want to talk about those today, this week? I don't think so. I tried to find the funny in some of them, but they're just sad at this point. Go watch your grandmother or your grandfather, if they're still alive, and just watch them for a day. Watch them try to eat. Watch them try to watch old Letterman reruns. Watch them poop themselves. Just watch them exist as 80, 90-year-old people. And now picture that same person in Congress, in the Senate, in the White House. That's our government. Bottom line. Sucks, right? Sucks. Big time sucks. Go to any nursing home in your area. Go play Pacino with the gals or bocce with the fellas, and then ask yourself, can any one of these folks create laws for our entire country? Or make the decisions on whether or not we go to war to kill other human beings and sacrifice our own lives? Let me know. Let me know what you think. That's our government. That's it. That's the story. That's the current event for our political system right now. That's it. They steal, they lie, they crap their pants. That is that. Now, on to better news in the current events world, or the LPDS world, I guess you can say. I got a text on the hotline. Now, the hotline, I can text every once in a while. I don't check. I don't get notifications, so it's rare that I see them. But I got one from a fan. I'm not going to mention their name because I don't know if they want to be identified, because they never explicitly. But the fan tuned into the episode Power of the Mind. It's from 2 weeks ago. 170, 171. Damn it, there's a moth in my studio. These bugs think they can just infiltrate this compound and get away with it. Let me tell you something. Off camera, blood will be shed. I promise you that. Anyway, he listened to that, and it sparked something inside of him. It was the kick in the ass he wanted and needed, he said. And he's going to start getting back to fighting weight. So I'm telling you all this because he wants to be held accountable. So I'm going to do some regular check-ins with him, and I encourage you all to remind me on a regular basis to hold our team accountable, hold the people at the junction accountable, just like you held me accountable for the business stuff, which is going pretty well. I've been talking to prospects to work on clients, some small businesses. If you have any small businesses, especially if they're in the tech sort of realm, let me know. We have a lot of experience helping grow leaders and improve leadership culture in those types of businesses. So let me know. Anyway, that's the business update for you. This guy wants accountability. He wants to get back to his fighting weight, lose, I don't know, it was several pounds, 30 to 50 pounds, something in that realm. I can't exactly remember what the text said, but that's what we're here for, folks. We entertain, we educate, we share a few laughs, we motivate, and we hold accountable. And we have fun doing it. So we're going to hold this guy accountable. I felt awesome and was humbled and honored that he felt so inspired by the LPDS that he wants to get better himself, and he's going to get after it, and he's going to keep us updated, and then he's going to smash his goal, because go back and listen to that episode and you'll know exactly why. You'll know exactly the reason why. Power of the Mind. It's called episode 171, I believe. Anyway, thank you for that. I don't think I have any other current events. The Yankees still stink, and I still watch them. And I'm a glutton for punishment, too. It's like you're in an abusive relationship. You keep going back because they say they love you, and they're never going to do it again. And that's what I feel like right now. I know some of you know what I'm talking about on the baseball side, not the relationship side. I hope. And if you do feel that way on the relationship side, come talk to me. DM me. I'll try to get you out of there, get you the help you want and need, really. So, anyway, no more current events. I don't think. We'll get right into the good stuff. I'm checking over my notes real quick to make sure, because I always miss every once in a while. It's more often than not. I got a juicy piece of intel or current event that I want to talk about and bring up, and I know you guys will enjoy, and then I forget to write it down, and I forget about it altogether, and then it's not until after the episode posts, and I'm like, damn it, I wanted to talk about that. That would have been sweet, but I missed it. Oh, not that anybody else cares but me and like two other people, but Dave Portnoy bought back 100% of Barstool Sports, and I couldn't be more pumped about it. The pirate ship is back. If you don't know anything about that, you're not going to know. You have to go look at the history of Barstool and why that's exciting. I'm excited for it, though. You know how I feel about Barstool Sports. I'm very biased. Whatever. I'm excited. Do I sound excited? I don't know. Sometimes I sound like a robot. Like a big nose, greasy, oily robot. And I can't figure out how to improve that sometimes. Anyway, that's current events now. We'll get into the good stuff. We'll step into the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right. Today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Dr. Funke's Human Veterinary Hospital for humans who identify as animals. Are you one of those people who feels like they just don't fit in their human skin and believe they are actually a walrus trapped in a human body? And because of this, you don't want to go to a regular doctor for treatment, but no self-respecting veterinarian will take you in? Then go to Dr. Funke's Vet for humans who can't think good and believe they're animals. Dr. Funke can provide all the Zoloft and Valium you need without the judgment of some disrespectful, walrus-phobic real doctor. He'll actually listen to you and assess your mental ailments appropriately, just the way you deserve. So to schedule a visit today, visit www.imawalrus.com and use the pronouns poo-pee for 29% off your first appointment. I saw a video of a lady. There's a TikTok. I'm almost positive it's a satire TikTok account that this lady has. I'm almost positive. Partly because I refuse to believe this is a real thing. But it was a video of this lady talking about how her son identifies as a cat. And when he got sick, she went to take him to a vet, and the vets turned him away because he's not a damn cat. And she went on this rant about how it's not fair that they're being discriminated against by the vet population because they don't think he's an animal because he has human body parts. But if my son says he's a cat, then he's a cat. And that's a direct quote. And like I said, I can't tell if this, I'm pretty positive it's a satire account. It was a joke video, but give that lady an Oscar because she was rather convincing. And I hope to God she's just an actor and doing the funny business stuff because yikes. Anyway, cage fact. This is more of an LPDS brag because we got to pat ourselves on the back here in the LPDS universe every once in a while. But the movie Dream Scenario that Nic Cage is in is premiering at a Toronto Film Festival this month. Now, I believe it's the same film festival that Nic Cage is going to receive an award in that we discussed previously. But the hullabaloo of this whole thing was that they released some photos of the movie. Not a trailer yet, but some photos. And one of the photos is of Nic Cage in the movie, and he's balding. He's got a beard. He looks like a disheveled, homeless, old Bruce Willis almost. And people are like, oh, I can't believe that's Nic Cage. You know, what an incredible photo. I can't wait to see this movie, blah, blah, blah. And if you remember, probably not because it was a long time ago, sometime last year, before Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent came out, I believe, or right around that time we were talking about Massive Talent. They were talking about this movie, and we talked about Nic Cage balding, and as an old man, I believe I posted a photo of it on the YouTube. I don't remember what episode it was, how long ago it was, but I know we talked about it. And now, almost over a year later, now people are catching on and seeing these photos and excited for this movie. We were already there. We did it. And this is not the first time we beat everybody else to the punch. Don't forget that. Okay? Let's remember, if you want the Nic Cage scoop, you guys know where to go to. Who to go to or where to go. That's what I was trying to say. We had it first. That's all I'm saying. Additionally, can we get another round of applause for another Cage classic coming out this year? The streak continues. We talked about it for weeks now. We even had the Creature talking about it. The guy can't be stopped right now. He is on such a heater. Just keep giving him the dice. Keep giving him the dice and let him win everybody money. That's what he's doing. Because he's getting paid, the studios are getting paid, and we're getting the best movies around. The best movies around. He's unstoppable. He's Joe DiMaggio on his 56-game hit streak. He can't be stopped. You can't get the ball past him right now. He's the opposite of everybody on the New York Yankees in 2023. He's absolutely annihilating the ball. Hitting piss missiles out of the stadium all year long. What an unbelievable run. That can't be overstated. It's one of the most unbelievable runs, especially by an actor who everybody wrote off. Almost everybody wrote off years ago. But not us. Don't forget that. Okay? We were ride or dies from day one. And that's the Cage fact for you guys. So there you go. We'll move it on over to the junction, spin the logo up. So my parents are coming into town this weekend. Now, by the time you listen to this, they will be long gone. I will likely be long gone. The compound may or may not still be here. Who knows what's going to happen to poor Randy? Because the circus is coming to town. And we'll be in town, and I will provide a late recap of the festivities. Try to sneak some content in there, although I don't like to record around my family, mainly because they act weird when the camera's on. They know the camera's on, and they start being different. So I got to figure out a way to make it sort of like a family video, like back in the old days when you had parties and stuff and there was always somebody recording and it was still natural and fun and awesome and made for great memories. I got to figure out how to do that without getting my parents all, my dad will get angry if I got the camera on. my mom may or may not accidentally say something inappropriate that you don't really want on the air. So we're going to protect them and the integrity of the Libretti household. But I'll try to get some stuff out there, some pictures, get some memories of them coming down to visit on what might be the hottest week of the year here in Texas. So I'm sure Crazy Carol will be thrilled about that. But I spent the week physically and mentally preparing for this visit because my parents have some demands. And I'm going to go through some of them right now off the top of my head. Well, first, I got a cleaning lady to come in and help me out because I want the house to be clean. And I have not done a good job of keeping it as clean as I like on a regular basis. I'm a single mother here. I'm washing and drying and working and taking care of the kids. And I know some of you single mothers can empathize with the situation here, so you get it. You feel it. You feel me. So I got a cleaning lady in to try to help out. Now, here's a question for you guys. And I was going to put this out in a poll. Maybe I still will, and we'll just talk about like a follow-up next week or next episode or something. But I didn't have time this week because I obviously have to record before they get here. How do I put this? Is it normal for a professional cleaning lady or cleaning person to show up to a job site with zero cleaning supplies? Now, initially, I was like, yeah, that's weird. It's stupid. It's unprofessional. How does this person expect to clean? Do they expect me to provide the supplies and buy them and go get them for them and whatever and have them available to them? Is that a normal expectation to have? I don't know. I thought initially it was ridiculous and stupid, but I've heard of this in the past where I guess cleaning people, especially when they have sort of long-standing business relationships with households, instead of having to carry all their gear and sprays and creams and whatever they use all over the place with them, they'll sort of do like a set it and forget it. They'll buy it for the house, and then the person who owns the house will allow them to leave it there for the future. But this is the first time that I hired this person. So that's why I thought it was weird. She came in, nothing. No vacuums, no towels, no sprays, no lotions, no creams. Nothing. And I also had nothing because I haven't been cleaning because I've been a bum. So we had to come up with some concoction. We had to get creative with it. I found some old towels, some old shirts that could be used as towels. I ran over to the local store close by and grabbed some stuff to make it happen. And she did a bang-up job on the kitchen and the bathroom. She was here for like 3 hours and charged a nominal fee. A nominal fee. And I'm not going to get into how much she charged because that's none of your damn business. But if you live in the Houston area and you're looking for somebody to clean your house thoroughly, let me know and I'll give you her contact information. She's also looking for offices to clean as well. Now, a couple caveats, obviously. First time, likely not to have supplies with her. So you're going to have the supplies on hand that you want her to use when you're cleaning your facility. Number 2, she does not speak much of any English at all. She knows about 12 words of English, and that's about it. Sometimes she was able to call her friend who can translate over the phone for us when we're having an in-person conversation. Sometimes I would be typing text messages out and having the phone translate the text message for her to read. We were figuring it out. We were adapting and overcoming to get to the communication to make sure it was effective. And we found a way to make it happen. We found a way to get the supplies needed. We found a way to get everything cleaned. She did a great job. I will be having her come by again to do some more cleaning because she was phenomenal. And listen, when somebody does good work and takes pride in their work, I don't know what it is. I don't know what to call the feeling I have, but I have an appreciation for that pride in an otherwise, garbage job. Have you ever cleaned your own kitchen? Top to bottom. We're talking dust, vacuum, mop, disinfect, spray, clean, all the appliances, all the countertops, cabinets, all of it. You ever do that yourself, one person? I don't care how much you like cleaning or like to have a clean house. It's a miserable job to do. The act of doing that and the chemical smell, and you're sweating it out and you see gunk and crap that you didn't know existed before in the history of life. And then stuff doesn't come off as easy as you want it to, and it's absolutely miserable and terrible. And she took absolute pride in her job. And what she was charging for it was pennies on the dollar for what she should have been getting, what the job was worth, what her work was actually worth, her value. And I appropriately compensated her financially. Don't worry, I'm not a ball bag. I'm a ball bag, but I'm a dick bag, I guess you could say. And she did a phenomenal job. And there's something about people taking pride in their work, no matter what the job is, that just hits me to the core in all the good ways. And I want to keep that person, working and doing their thing. It's just the good work. And I don't know if I do that because I hope people do that for me too. But I also know it's been lacking a lot lately, where people supervisors don't appreciate the good work their teams do. Customers don't appreciate what workers, have to go through in their jobs. So I get it. Now, look, you could call me out for my Lowe's tirade and my customer service issues that I've discussed in the past. But I think it's also fair to say I did everything I could to ensure a positive experience for both parties in there, and it just wasn't able to happen. Because that's how bad the customer service was. And I've also discussed plenty of times when the customer service has been so good that I responded to that, I rewarded that, if you will, appreciated it more. But anyway, cleaning lady did a phenomenal job. She helped me. She helped a ton. She took a lot of time off my hands for me to clean that stuff up so my parents can have a good dining and bowel experience this weekend. While I was able to do work and focus on other stuff and get into the positive mental state I need to be to withstand the blows when Crazy Carol and JPL3 come in like a tornado. Now, some of the other demands that we had here every time I want to talk about demands, quote unquote demands, this is where it all sparks. It's from these conversations I have with my parents on things what they can bring with them down on their flight. Now, just for, context here, they flew to Austin, Texas to go see my great Aunt Mary because she just turned 100. And if you didn't know that, go back again and listen to the episode Power of the Mind, and you'll get all the information on my Aunt Mary that you need. So they went to Austin to visit their cousins and my great Aunt Mary to wish her a happy birthday and to see her at 100 years old. And now they're coming to Houston, which is a couple hours away, Friday through Sunday. So they were asking me, and they don't fly much, if at all. And even though they just went to Italy at the end of May, they immediately forgot everything about air travel that ever existed in their brains. Immediately. Gone. Asking me if they needed what passport they needed, kind of tickets to buy. I had to buy their tickets that still got jacked up somehow, according to them. They wanted to get to the airport 4 hours before their domestic flight just to make sure they had enough time to get through security and stuff. So they made my brother, Nicky Sticks, pick them up. He had to drive 30 minutes to get them, then an hour and a half to the airport, and then he had to go to work that day. And then he's taking care of the dog for them, their dog, Norton. But he gets a sweet deal out of it. Don't feel bad for Sticks. I know he'll get on there on the social medias and cry, woe is me and what a hero. But Sticks is getting a fridge full of cutlets. Carol cutlets are top tier. Crazy Carol's cutlets are unrivaled, unmatched cutlets. And you can ask anybody who's tried them. So he's got a fridge full of cutlets, free power and cable and laundry and whatever. He doesn't have to use his as at his apartment. And they said that they would pay for his tickets and flights when he wants to come visit the LPDS compound in the future. Which, by the way, he volunteered. Did you see that, the moth in the screen? I don't know if you can see it in the camera to my right here. He's going down. His time is coming soon. Anyway, he just voluntarily said he's coming down. No invite. Just expects that Sticks. It's my world, and you're living in it, buddy. And I'm coming down. Also, I'm not paying for it. So suck it. And that Sticks. So he's got a good deal. Anyway, my parents needed to know what they can pack and bring with them. And it started off pretty regular as far as what they were asking about packing. My father asked, can he pack his razors? And if he needed to get smaller shaving cream can. Again, all stuff he had to pack and prepare for not 3 months ago. Forgot it all. And it's more restrictive overseas than it is in domestic flights. So we talked about the shaving cream. He wanted to know about mouthwash. I said, don't bring mouthwash. I'll get it for you. But then he wouldn't have it when he was in Austin for the 2 days. So how is he going to make sure he gets it in Austin? As if there's no stores in Austin to go buy Listerine. He buys the brown kind, too. Not even like the minted kind. He buys the brown. Which, if you know anything about the history of Listerine, it was poison that somebody decided to swish in their mouth like a psychopath and was like, maybe we could sell this poison to clean out the germs because it was such poison. I think I got it. I think I hit that moth, and I think I dismembered him on the fly. I'll keep you posted if I see him flying around again. But I whacked him. If you saw in YouTube land, I whacked him. So we'll see. Anyway, that's Listerine. It was poison that someone put in their mouth and were like, damn, this is killing everything in my mouth. Let's sell it as a mouthwash and trick people into putting it in their mouths. And then they eventually were like, we got to put some flavors in here. It's super intense. We don't know what we're doing. These people are dying out there. They're melting. It's like acid. And JPL3 is like, no, give me the brown. If it ain't brown, it's not going down, bucko. Speaking of bucko, I'll continue on. Anyway, so we had to figure out the Listerine thing. Then we had to figure out the baby powder situation. Now, he didn't have any travel-sized containers of baby powder, so that was another discussion to have about how he was going to have his baby powder needs met in a different state. Once again, as if he was going to the actual Wild West where they only had apothecaries and baby powder was not invented yet. So we figure that out. Our cousin is going to supply baby powder in Austin, and Libretti will supply baby baby powder here in Houston. Now, let me tell you something. I've said it in the past. We've discussed it in the past. My dad uses ungodly amounts of baby powder on we have no idea what. It is one of the long-standing Libretti family mysteries on what my father uses so much baby powder on. And I've said this before. The bathroom at their house looks like Tony Montana's office. You can swipe your finger across any surface in that bathroom. Mirror, countertop, sink, ceiling, inside the shower, outside the shower, the lining of the toilet, everywhere. And it's got at least a half-inch layer of baby powder on there. I have to hide my toiletries in a separate room altogether so that they don't get covered in powder. And I know I mentioned this before, and I sound like a broken record, but that's how bad and intense it is with the powder. So I had to go and work some sort of a deal to find a 5-gallon drum of baby powder from the back of a truck to make sure he had enough for a weekend. And I already have the cleaning lady on speed dial to come right back to clean up the place because it's going to look like a couple of ghosts had an orgy here at the end of this weekend. So we had the baby powder discussion. Then things got interesting. Then JPL3 asked what sort of food items he was allowed to pack in his carry-on bags, because they're not checking any bags, so that he can bring down to his cousins in Texas. And I said, well, first, what food are you going to bring from New Jersey that they cannot get in Texas? Is it homemade? What is it? And he told me that he wanted to go to this Italian market in Jersey that we frequent. My brother Sticks talks about it a lot. It's called Uncle Giuseppe's, top-tier place. He wanted to bring some things there because Texas, believe it or not, doesn't have the biggest Italian population, so their Italian stores are lacking, if they even have any. Anyway, he ran through a laundry list of ridiculous items he wanted to pack in his carry-on bag like he was smuggling drugs over the border. Cured meats galore. Salamis, gabagools, pepperonis, you name it. He wanted to pack it. Jars of olives, artichoke hearts, sun-dried tomatoes, roasted peppers, all jarred. Packages of cheese. What else? I'm trying to think what else. Other Italian goods. He wanted to replace all the clothes in his bag with Italian cured meats and cheeses and jarred pickled items to transport down suspectly at best. Is that a word? It is now. It might not be illegal, but it's certainly frowned upon in the traveling community. And that was a whole other discussion in and of itself. And then the topic of the heat came up because Crazy Carol believes she's allergic to the heat. Now, I don't want to say she's wrong because I'm not a doctor. I will probably have to give Dr. Funke a call to consult with him and to see if that's even a real thing. Because I don't know if it's real or not. It's probably possible that people can be allergic to certain temperatures or higher. I don't know. But she swears she's allergic to the heat. So they're coming down on the hottest week of summer here in Texas. And as you know, I was having an issue with my skylights beaming down scorching hot rays of sun into my living room, making it at least 15 degrees hotter in there, and then also giving me a sunburn on my schnoz and noggin. Well, luckily, I scrambled to get shades installed just in time for their arrival, And I will say this. Considerable difference in temperature in there. A considerable difference. But my house is old, and I have not yet updated all the insulation I wanted to update just yet. By the time they visited, I got some of it done and put in. Now, this house has insulation in it, but not as much as I'd like, especially with this heat and the age of the house. I want to have more in the attic so that it really keeps in the AC when we run the AC. So it's slightly not as good as I want it to be. And then plus my living room has got vaulted ceilings. It's a big living room. And that's not a brag. It's not an expensive living room. It's just big. Okay. Let's put it there. Let's put it all out there. It's just big and a high ceilings. And of course, anything pre like 2000, I don't even know when, because they still build crappy shit these days. But back in the day, they didn't think about, global warming, I guess, or any other shit like that. And they only have one AC vent in the entire living room. It's the biggest room in the house, and they only have one. My bedroom has more than one. And it's half the size of my living room. So that's what we're dealing with. So it's still warmer in there. So what I've been doing, again, to mentally prepare and physically prepare, I've created a sweat lodge in my own house this week to save money on HVAC and offset the bill that I will undoubtedly have to accrue this weekend to keep it cool enough for my mother to survive and function. And then I've considered hiring a guy to follow us around every time we leave the house with an ice cube on a tray and a fan behind it to keep her cool. Because, again, it's the hottest week of the year practically in Texas and Houston. And my grass is actually starting to burn. There are starting to be dark brown spots on the grass because not only did it die, it's burning now. Didn't catch on fire yet. It might. But I'm certainly not going to waste the money on good water to keep it from lighting up. It's going down. And I hope the HOA comes after me for it too if it happens. But anyway, that's what I had to prepare for this trip. I'm still excited to see them. Hopefully they can give me some tips and tricks on how to make this house better, more of a home. And they don't drive the dog crazy. Because as you know, Italians have short fuses and little patience, and they fly off the handle pretty quickly. And when that happens, Randy also flies off the handle because he's a product of his environment and he feeds off energy. And they don't have the discipline to control themselves. And Randy doesn't have the discipline to control himself just yet because he's a dog and he's only 3. And they are Italians and they are very old. And that is a dangerous combination to deal with, folks. So I'll keep you posted. I'll try to get some good footage without being invasive, without getting them to be caricatures of themselves. And we'll see how it goes. So pray for me. If there's no episode next week, look in the newspaper for the obituary. That's all I'm saying. If there's no episode posted the next week, there's no episode 174. There is funeral number 1. So don't bring flowers. I don't want flowers. Donate to a local charity, St. Jude, something like that, and write a good eulogy and clear browsing history. All right, that's all I got today, guys. Before we go, though, I do have a hotline. I'm going to try to pop it up here. So give me a second, and we'll get the hotline question going.
Gentlemen, Tony Piccone calling again. I'm calling in reference to your video that you put out last week on the power of the mind. For all those listeners out there, was episode 171. I just wanted to echo what you had said about your Aunt Mary. What Johnny said was 100% 101% true. What kind of a woman this woman is and still is, and hopefully will be for some time now. But anyhow, he comes from a family of scrap metal business brothers. They were all in business. I think they started out in 1960, and they stayed in business till I think they closed up their shop in 1985. They were all hardworking people. And I want to even go back to JPL1, which I never personally met, and I know Johnny never met. But he's an Italian man that came with nothing and established a great business. So when you talk about leadership qualities, when you talk about standing strong, it's all about that. I just again want all the viewers to know that we kid around, I kid around, we all kid around, but leadership is a very, very important thing. And I encourage anyone who's a listener of Johnny to join his Spearhead Leadership class. I don't get paid for this. All right, Johnny, I'll tell him, just I know you don't want to pay me for this. But anyhow, continue your good work. I hope more and more people will join your leadership podcast because, again, it's essentially important for people to know what it is to be a leader, what it is to succeed, and what it is to stand strong. Johnny, you come from a good line of people. I hope you spread that word to as many people as possible. And again, as I text you as well, you're older than your age. You're very, very experienced in what you did. You dedicated your career to the Air Force, which is commendable, and I only wish you the best of luck, a blessing to yourself and your family. And the only thing is, you got to find the girl now who you could settle with that. All right, that's the only thing that I think you're lacking at this point. And I'm putting it out there to you and to all your viewers. You got to find my good boy, my good friend Johnny, a girl, somebody who's upstanding, somebody that's strong, somebody who's a leader. Okay, Johnny, I could go on for a half an hour, but I know your podcast, you listen to this come the end of the podcast. I don't want people to be hanging up on you. I want everybody to hear this. Okay, Johnny, the best of luck to your family.
All right. I maybe there's a 3-minute limit on the hotline voicemail through the Google Voice, and it cut him off right there at the end. I did not cut him off. I'm never going to cut my fans off like that, especially family. I call him. I didn't mean to call him like just a fan. He's family, but very kind words. Very kind words. I appreciate that. He's a top tier fan. I know the creature got mad at me when I said he was a number one fan, but you guys are all number one fans. Well, some of you aren't, but most of you are. So thank you for that call, Tony. Very kind words. I really appreciate it. Tony tunes in to Spearhead Leadership, the weekly leadership calls we do. So he can attest he's not just blowing smoke up my ass. Trust me, the one thing our family does not do is compliment somebody who doesn't deserve it. In fact, a lot of the family doesn't compliment people when they do deserve it. So, great call. Thank you for that. Go watch that episode. It's roller coaster of emotions. It'll make you laugh, make you cry, get you fired up, get you piss hot. It'll get you going. So, episode 171, Power of the Mind. Thank you for the call. Thanks for being such a good supporter of everything I've been doing. And that's all I got, guys. That's it. Before we go, though, I said this already. I'm going to say it again. The big three. For the new folks out there, the big three are the three pillars to staying strong and being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being. Number one, exercise every day. Whatever you got to do, whether it's a physical, mental, or emotional exercise, workout, a walk, read a book, do a crossword, meditate, pray, do breath work, whatever it is to exercise, do one thing to get healthier and more fit physically, mentally, and emotionally. Number two, don't be a shitty person. The easiest thing to do is to let our emotions get the best of us in a negative situation, whether in person or over social media. and just to have at it and be negative towards a person, especially on social media, because they're just a profile at that point to you. So instead of doing that, when the opportunity arises to be shitty and negative, just detach from your emotions, take the LPDS step back, and omit yourself from the situation altogether. You don't even have to say anything. Just don't engage. Move on with your lives. That way you can fill your time up with more positive, productive things in your lives and get yourself out of those negative spaces. Because the more time you spend in the negative crap, in the shit of the world, the more time that takes over your brain. And that's another thing we talked about with the power of the mind. Okay? Our mind is what we tell ourselves it is. If you live in the negative, you're going to eventually have a negative mindset. So don't do it. Get out of it. Number 3, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. Just think about the good things you have. Think about one thing a day, one good thing a day that you have in your lives. And now think about what your life would be like without that thing. Pretty shitty, right? That should put your brain in an immediate state of gratitude, even for that moment. And if you do that a little bit more every day, and you omit yourselves from the shitty situations, and you get your exercise in every day, you're going to be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, more genuine human being. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the hotline. You can text it to if you want. 202-670-1114. I really want to get this hotline going. I got to figure out better ways to advertise the hotline so we can get some calls and get some activity out there, because that's fun. Interacting with you guys is super fun. So hit that hotline. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.